My name is Lacey Travis, and this is my semester summary for Physics 111. I chose to use Prezi and a screencast for this, and this is my third attempt doing it, so I'm going to have to do it a little different this time. So first I'm going to discuss the video game, because when I tried to do this last time, it did not work. And so this video game caused a lot of grief for my group and I. We were not able to figure out how to do it. I did correspond back and forth with David and between my group and I, and we just weren't able to figure it out. And so this is the program or the game prior to trying things that David had showed us. And this, so you can at least see it, but I mean, we couldn't detect collisions. It doesn't matter whether the paddle is there, and so this is just not a working game. And then the game that was edited with stuff that David gave us just gives an error, and I cannot figure out how to fix it. And so we just weren't able to figure that out. It caused a lot of frustration, and we did the best that we could for that. But I do believe that we still deserve an A because we did put a lot of effort into it, and we were able to at least submit work showing that we did something. So, alright, let's get started with the Prezi presentation here. First I'm going to talk about the spiral physics activities that we did. The first part that we did is the spiral kinematics activities, and this is dealing with acceleration and velocity. And so these are just a few images of the activities that were assigned that I uploaded after I completed. I did do all of them, and so that is another reason that I believe I deserve an A for this class, which I do because I did put a lot of effort into the class. I averaged about 20 hours a week, so for 8 weeks that'd be 160 hours for the semester. And so that is quite a bit of time, especially during the summer. So anyways, the second part of the spiral physics was the spiral dynamics activities. And so these bridged off the kinematics by adding force to the equation. And so again, these are just the images of the activities that I completed and uploaded, and I did do all of them. And so again, that is why I think I deserve an A. And then we also did some video analysis using the tracker program. And so we were given some videos, and then we had to obtain videos out in our world. And we had to do constant motion, acceleration, and projectile motion. And for the constant motion video, I chose to film my fish, and here he is. And for the acceleration, I did a ball being kicked across the ground. And for projectile motion, I did a video of me throwing my cat's ball up into the air with the hope that he would chase it, but he didn't have that same idea. So I did do all of the video labs, and I did do the associated lab reports to the requirement of an A. So again, that is why I think that I deserve an A for the class. And then the next assignment that we had was cultural science assignment. And for this, I chose to go to the Arizona Science Center. I used to love going to the Science Center back in Michigan when I was a kid, and so I wanted to see how this one compared. I've been at ASU downtown, and so I've seen it plenty of times, but haven't had the chance to go in, and so I jumped at the opportunity to do it for this class. One of my favorite exhibits that was there was this sphere here where you could see different views of the Earth, and you could look at it based on temperature or weather or the terrain or the water current, and so that I thought was really neat. The Science Center has a lot more technology than I remember as a kid. There aren't as many grimy, dirty little models to play with, but there's lots of buttons to push and screens to look at with some pretty neat videos and really cool animations. And so I would definitely like to go back and spend more time here. I wasn't able to spend as much time as I would have liked, but I did enjoy the time that I was here. and so I probably will end up back here at some point just to explore a little further. I did do the 2-page reflection paper for this, as well as some follow-up research. I chose to see where the Arizona Science Center and the one I visited as a kid rank against others in the country, and I was not able to find them on any type of list, let alone any type of top 10 list, but I enjoyed my experience there, and I loved going to the one in Michigan as a kid, and so I figure as long as you learn something, it's a great place to be. And so because I did do the paper and the research, that is another reason that I do believe I deserve an A. And so the next assignment was the controversial debate, and I was lucky enough to get my first choice of vaccines. I did do an argument for both sides of this topic. The anti-vaccine side was a little harder to find scientific facts and research on, but I was able to find some good supporting evidence for the anti-vaccine side. I did do my responses to all of the other debates that were posted, minus the 2 or 3 that I was not able to open, but I did see several other people had the same problem I did. But again, because I wrote both a dual side paper as well as responding to everyone else's, that is yet another reason why I deserve an A. I believe anyway. And then our next set of assignments were utilizing VPython, where basically we're doing coding to make different animations. And so there were 7 different labs for this, and this is also the program we used for the video game, which did not turn out successful. But one of the first assignments was to make a ball and then to make our initials, as I did here. This lab was the only one that I wasn't able to complete the various challenge levels for. I wasn't able to get an image to save. But each lab had different challenges to go further and put a little extra into it to show that you understood it. And so I did do all the other challenges for the other labs with the exception of the initials one. So that is another reason I think I deserve an A. These are just some images. This would be just balls with velocity. This is a projectile image, and I made a little earth, which I thought was cool and I wish you could see. And then this was just a constant motion object with an accelerating object. And so again, I did do every challenge minus 1, so I do think I deserve an A for that reason. And the next assignment was we had several different neat resources to complete. These are just a list of ones that I found the most interesting. The makerspaces involves, there are a couple schools trying to implement makerspaces for the kids just by setting up little areas with various objects and crafts where they can just explore and be creative and be kids. And so I thought that that was really cool. And then for a blog, this is probably one of my favorite blogs. It has a lot of do-it-yourself recipes for both food and skincare and household items on there. And so since I'm trying to be more natural in my life, I really get a lot of use out of this website and really enjoy the recipes that I've used. For the metamaterials neat resource, I found that an article just stating how, it's a booming market. It's expected to reach $1.2 billion by 2019, which I found really interesting since it's expanding and growing so fast. And there are a lot of really cool things involved with it. I saw someone found an article that they've made an invisibility cloak, and so that is any Harry Potter fan's dream. So that was really cool. And then the 3D display neat resource, I found that MIT has made some new technology to allow you to interact with a 3D object in a different location, and it basically works with an electronic pin pad, like the nail pads that we used to have as kids that you could use, you'd put on your face or your hand. and then it also uses a depth sensor camera. And so I thought that was pretty fascinating, and think that there are some pretty good uses for that in the future, and some pretty positive implications that we can take advantage of that technology for. And then this next images here are just my notebook that I used for the class. I did take notes in this quite often with the different videos that we had to respond on, as shown here. And then for the spiral physics activities, I took notes from the text that was read, like the examples that they used, and then I also did some math calculations in there. And so it really helped me to keep things organized and make sure I was following along with what I learned in the text. So I think it helped me to get most of those spiral physics activities correct. And then the last thing, or one of the last things that we did that I'm going to talk about anyways, is we did another group project where we had to shoot mini marshmallows. And my partner and I decided to study the barrel length as well as the blow force, and we hypothesized that the longer the barrel length and the harder the blow force, the farther the marshmallow would travel, and both of those, both independent of each other as well as in combination. And my part of the experiment was to study the length, and so here is an image of my results. And as expected, the longer the tube, the farther the marshmallow went, and the harder the blow force, the farther the marshmallow went. And so that we did, my partner and I, complete the lab report and turn this in. And so again, that is another reason why I think I deserve an A for the class. And so then here we have reached the end with this summary. And so again, I feel like I deserve an A for the class because I put in about 20 hours a week for this, for a total of about 160 hours for the semester. I did complete all of the activities that were required, and I do feel that I learned quite a bit from this class. I honestly feel like I learned more from this class than I would have from any face-to-face class, and so I've really enjoyed it, and I've worked really hard and had a lot of fun, and I hope that you agree that I have earned an A for this class, and I look forward to taking Physics 112 with you next semester.